Right, colleagues, we approaching our last session or our last panel discussion for the colloquium. Just waiting for everybody to find a seat. Right, we've got two presentations left before lunchtime. Last but not least, most definitely not. And this panel discussion is focusing specifically on pedagogically informed futures. So I would like to introduce to you first and foremost Franci, Janse van Vuuren from UJ. We'll do the first 20 minutes presentation, and that will be followed by Rasilo from Northwest University, and then afterwards we'll have some time for questions. All right, Franci, thank you.
Thanks so much. Good afternoon, everybody. Here we are at the end of the colloquium and the symposium, which also contributed to everything. And it feels as if everything has been said, but I realize now it's actually a good way to end all the discussions. We are going back to the future, because after everything has been said, what can you do? Go back to the future. And then Rossi's presentation is into the next generation. So we're looking back and we are going forward. Right, so we are on behalf of Tia de Wet, the Director for Center for Academic Technologies, and myself, greetings from her as well. Joburg, greetings. We are going to look at square one principles, because these are what will take digital integration to the next level and into the future. Now, seeing that everything is about technology, I thought to share with you my ode to technology. And I first created this in 2012 at the Heltasa conference, also here in beautiful Stellenbosch. I hope those of you who live and work here appreciate it every day. And the theme at that stage was, or the presentation was, crafting students towards technological fluency as a basis of quality education. And it has been addressed this morning as well. Well, I think lustrum later, our students might be technologically more fluent, and we perhaps have to live up towards that, to integrate it. But of course, there are still issues that need to be addressed about technological fluency. So I am going to share with you my creation about technology. So I designed, in my slightly techno-wired mind, with words and word mixes as cuisine, fed into my techno machine, for projection here today on your screen. So I hope you are going to enjoy this cuisine. Right, so technology, there it is. We love it, hate it, love it, hate it. With or without it, we can be so frustrated. We can create, and luckily, and do with it. We need it, and at times we cannot be without it. It invades our lives, as we know, yet sometimes it cannot fill the voids. It prescribes the topics of the days and writes the lines for the tabloids in the most innovative of ways. It used to be a collective noun in the singular form, but of course that is no longer the norm. It is growing, it's ongoing, blooming, mushrooming, overflowing. It multiplies and continually fills the cyber and the non-cyber skies with a zillion pluralities and endless possibilities. And that's the way it is. Because we are in the 21st century. So we have to prepare our students with skills fit for the 21st century to survive there, which we are all doing at our different institutions. We know life and career skills, learning and innovation skills. There's been a lot of talk about critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity, and of course we must still all be able, and our students, to read, write, and do arithmetics. And most of us are familiar with what Donna Albanese said already in 1999, though. Online learning is not the next big thing, it is the now big thing. And of course, therefore, our students should also be skilled on information, media, and technological level, as we have just heard in presentations this morning as well. And in the Horizon report, it was stated clearly that online, mobile, and blended learning are foregone conclusions. And if we as institutions do not have robust strategies in place, we will simply not survive. And we don't want just to survive, we want to thrive in this environment. I'm going to, Nelson Mandela University looked at the past 10 years what they've done. I'm just going to take it another 5 years back. So we're going to look at the last 1.5 decades at UJ, what we did there. Well, of course, forever before we had the traditional face-to-face learning. And then when I started working there at the university in 2003, we had those multimodal learning material packages with a file, your learning guide, your interactive CD, and then also some work already on our learning management system, which we used to call EduLink at that stage, but it is Blackboard. Now we use the name Blackboard. Then technology integrated teaching and learning. As we moved forward, less and less hard copy and work on the interactive CDs and directly onto the learning management system. Keep on promoting the integrated use of teaching, learning and technologies by means of using cross-platform applets, and then the increased focus on blended learning, but of course we have been blending long time ago, as I've showed you there in the beginning. And of course now here the fully online, which is here to stay, and which we all have to add to our menu. And you can also see in the names of our centers, we were first the Center for Teaching, Learning and Assessment, then technology really featured, technology assisted, or we also speak about technology enhanced learning, and the Center for Academic Technologies. Just to say that technology is part and parcel of what we do. Now, we are going back to the future, is the title of this presentation too. Usually, in a good sense, it means to go to recycle what has been there in the present, and we've seen how it is being done, and taking an old idea and incorporating it in a future plan. So the idea here is not to go back to the past, like that movie Back to the Future, where you want to fix the past to fix the future, because in the past, ground foundations were laid, and that really works. So, as St. Clement also very wisely said, most good things have already been said, they just need to be left. And I see we have all said it in different ways during this colloquium. And I'm going to focus on the square one principles that we've used throughout that 1.5 decade, indicated by a square one throughout the presentation. So we always need to go, when we go forward, to go and look back how it was done in the beginning, return to the starting point, and in this specific case, looking at the foundational principles of integrating teaching and learning into higher education. So what did we do back then? Just a summary. Of course, we had integrated learning material packages. We started making use more and more of the learning management system. We had instructional designers, many of them trained as certified Blackboard trainers. I also had a slide, but I know there is a ting at the end. So I'll just briefly mention that, as we've all said, it is a whole team working together, instructional designers, developers, graphic designers. Everybody is involved. And then slowly but surely we moved away from the production module to the important aspect of staff and student development. Of course, to empower the users for the effective and the optimal use of the learning management system. So our teaching and learning environment typically consists of a combination of the following: a learning guide with a template and a checklist for the lecturers. And as we go on to online learning, we see how important it is to still have that learning guide there and to work from that. Just in the previous presentation, I spoke about curriculum development. And if you don't have that learning guide as your core, then you're already stuck at the beginning. And interactive series with voiceovers, document camera work, the talking head that we spoke about, the video clips, case studies, and all to provide a richer learning environment and to enhance your skills. And then, of course, the LMS, and way back then we had all the information and communication tools, assessment, managing, tracking, and new technologies. At that stage, we had the personal digital assistants used for field work, a little tool that you take with you. Some of you might remember it. So some of our geography students use that. So, but it must be integrated purposefully to achieve the learning outcome. So look, Nelson Mandela University also showed everything that they use. So we have really a lot of things there on the table. And the problem is that each of these aspects, there are so many elements to be integrated, is a light. And what is light? It is a natural agent, and nowadays technology is a natural agent. It is integrated in our lives, but it should stimulate sight and make things better. And therefore, then, back then and also now, very important to ask the L question. So, what is the L question? Are we leaving our students lost amidst lots of little lights, or are we leading them towards the light with all these technological tools? So each new tech thing has its value, but does it contribute for the students to reach the outcomes? So if you use it just for the sake of using it, to add it to the collection, then of course it is going to lose its light. All of us are working within models. We know the ADDIE model: to analyze, design, develop, implement, evaluate. And also when you use technology, you analyze, you design, how are you going to use and implement it? You are going to evaluate, did it work? The important thing is that we are using a pedagogical approach, whatever approach it is that you are using. And then, of course, came the rise of the digital technologies and mobile learning, and we had to be better prepared for the mobile future. In 2012, our previous director, Alan Amer, you might know him, he designed for us a single sign-on, which is so cool. It is a one-stop shop for staff and students, and there you have, voila, access to everything. But we also had to make it compliant, fourth screen compliant. Now you might know a fourth screen, the first screen, the cinema, the second screen, cinema in your home, the television, then closer on your desk, your computer, and then the fourth screen, my phone, my life, fourth screen compliance. So we had to do that. We designed YouGo Access to have access to it immediately, and we also had to adjust our already designed resources, like for example, for all our first years, but now it's for all the students, we have Success 101. You used to go into Blackboard, but now students can access it, they can download it as an e-textbook, so to have access to it anywhere, anytime. And of course, the three focus areas is, like always, teaching and learning and technical support and development to achieve their outcomes. To drive transformative learning practices, to provide scaffolded just-in-time, or nowadays we also talk about early-in-time support, and to use cross-platform applets. And we also work within a framework. We adopted in those years the chat framework. Somebody also did a presentation about the cultural historical activity theory. And we incorporated that in the way that we do things. Collaboration, authentic learning, and the tool, using the tool just as the mediator of that. And once again, like in many of the case studies, you work within a certain framework. And then the renewed focus on blended learning, although all of us have been doing blended learning. But the new focus, we all know the benefits of blended learning, combination of online and face-to-face, and the importance of that, and that we had to redesign, and that it is enables students, to hop on, hop off, to engage with the material. Now, we did a survey, a staff survey, and everybody knows surveys. So we did a staff survey, and we in 2016, and we did find that there was a positive shift towards the use of technology for teaching and learning, and there was a minimum of 10% growth in the using of learning artifacts, tasks and assessments, collaborative projects. And while we talk about learning artifacts, I also have it in the next slide. We also now have what we call a CAT lab, a maker space, which we use for the students, but also to design learning artifacts for the online programs, for the modules. And our students also participated in a survey, and there's a trick to it. So we issued, and they can win one of 10 Lenovo's, so they are very eager to participate in it. We have a little ceremony where we hand it over to them, and the participation was quite overwhelming. 15,500 students within 10 days, and 12,500 of them were undergraduates. So, yes, congratulations there to Tia. She put a lot of effort into that. And we can see that the students' attitudes are towards using technology, not to be in their own world in class, is very positive. So they would like Wi-Fi to interact in the class. And of course that forces the facilitators, the lecturers, to also go the same route, to also have something there on the platform for the students to interact with. Right, and now we can say we've got 95% use of Blackboard. No more, like in some of your cases, no more paper learning guides. Everything is on Blackboard. And there's really a positive move towards blended learning. And 800 out of the 2,500 modules are blended in some other form. And of course we need to look at the quality of that blended, but it is there. And we also offer workshops to the lecturers. We've got, just to mention, we've got some interns also working, and we share experiences with other universities. And sharing is caring. We know the great example of sharing through the Up to You. We had our 11th year and on Monday, and it is great. And that is the way we learn and grow, by sharing. So mobile learning, we do a lot on the field of mobile learning for our students. We optimize the learning for the students, and we are CAT. There's the CAT, the Center for Academic Technologies. And we've spoken about data. There's free Wi-Fi, zero-rated data, and we also had to redesign UNIC, the single sign-on system, for more efficiency. And the makerspace, also used for the students. The students can go there, gaming. There's a 3D printer, and they get support. And I've also spoken about our e-book for the student, Success 101, which we have. Just to confirm what we've all been saying, technology is the tool. It is not the learning outcome. It is the mediation of teaching and learning. Very important then. And it is not so much about the technology, redesign, rethinking, putting the pedagogy in place there. And just to say what Tia de Wet and Carina van Rooyen in a discussion paper, a framework for how to go forward with this, is that integrating technology is really very important, and that we want to create citizen scholarships that also contribute to their own learning. So we are very enabled technology-wise, but the danger is there to be technology enabled, but to be pedagogy light. So we must be aware of it. So we are well positioned for teaching and learning with technology, but we need to look, what are we going to do with this? And how are we going to use this access that we have? And the ways, just very shortly, I see there the guiding principles. What they have summarized, technology is the tool. It should be learner-centered, social justice access, relevance to the contents, collaboration also between the learner and the teacher, the lecturer, reflection, authentic learning, research of scholarship. And then in the last 30 seconds, just a summary of all those principles: staff and student development, effective and optimized use of the learning management system, integrated, and work within, even if you design, develop, if you train, if you support within a framework. Technology is a tool and not an outcome. And lastly, in 2008, at a presentation at our Lustrum Symposium at that stage, Blackboard, I used their quote where they said it is for them about the general contribution to the improvement of education. That is what it is about. And to take it to the fourth industrial revolution, where we are, our new recently inaugurated Vice-Chancellor, Selitsi Marwala, is very outspoken about the fourth industrial revolution and how we should be prepared for it. And there are all the new ways and trends. There's, for example, universal design for learning, which is very important. We've spoken about it. If we could all tap into it, we're all going, for example, blended learning and the online route, all to work together. And the last words from our Vice-Chancellor then is, we have virtual classrooms and laboratories, libraries, virtual teachers, interdisciplinary, but however, it does not degrade educational experience, but it augments it. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.